Do you remember your first day amongst the stars, or are you looking to pilot your first ship and join a Starfleet? Well, this video will show off what to expect and how my first day aboard the Brie, yes, like the cheese, went with all its ups and downs, so stick around and wait to see just how badly this went. After a sad previous day, having buried my furry friend, I was gifted a ship by a close friend, meaning no longer will I be working on the ground at Area 18, and soon we would be able to take to the stars and earn millions, or so I'd hoped. But starting my day after walking down to the plaza, I began shopping like I knew exactly what I was doing, spying some nice orange armor, a new helmet, and a backpack. Looking around some more, I picked out my first weapon, just a pistol for now, as I have never used a gun, as well as some drinks, as I'd imagine it's going to be thirsty work. With all of this done, I headed down to the platform, suiting up, and waited for my train, boarding it, and heading towards the hangars. This was a surreal feeling, just seeing the vast city we are from. We were about to explore so much more, but for now, we had to make sure we knew how to fly. So now was the time as I arrived, walking through and making it to the elevators, and seeing my own hangar had me feeling ready for an epic adventure, as how hard could this be, right? And here she was, what I will call Brie, my first faithful ship was there waiting for me, and boy was she a beauty. The time was now though, as I climbed on board and seeing I had limited space. However, for now, I'm sure this will more than do. And so we lifted off as we began to get to grips with the controls. Soon enough, I thought I knew what I was doing. So I did what any great pilot would do, spying a ship in distress and heading out to try and save them, netting us our first payout amongst the stars. However, I could not figure out how to fly there any faster, and at our current rate, we'd never get there in time. After some button pressing, I had done it, initiating our drive to fly over there at a ridiculous speed. However, once there, I realized I went in way too soon, as my weapons were not working, and in pressing more buttons, I was turning the engines off and on again and getting nowhere, which was made even worse by them spotting me as they began to fire upon my ship, busting the left side and leaving me panicking already. But by the skin of my teeth, I got out of there, leaving the poor civilian ship to be shot down. Getting back to a safe space, I had finally figured out how to turn my weapons back on and felt like I understood the controls. And so I spied another mission, and this was to help with a base that had been overrun. However, whilst looking at these, I was not aware that my ship was moving down, and soon enough, we crash landed rather embarrassingly. Luckily, I wasn't far away from the hangar, and so I was rescued, waking up inside the hospital, meaning I had to run all the way back. Thankfully though, they were able to save and repair my ship, and so once again I headed back out in order to save any workers at this site, hoping that I would finally be able to take on a mission and earn our first credits. Flying in, I was feeling tense, not knowing what to expect, but upon doing so, They were all patrolling and did not expect the great Brie to come out blasting them into dust. However, spying a turret, I felt I had to shoot at it in case they turned on me. But they did exactly that, once again destroying my ship and sending me back to the hospital. Now though, I knew I shouldn't shoot the turrets. Surely this must get easier, as I once again flew in, shooting everyone on sight, and finally, for the first time, successfully landing my ship. Before finally heading inside, getting to the elevator, and began the descent. By looting some of the unfortunate mercenaries, I was able to get myself an SMG, which helped me push through this a little more. However, just as I thought I wiped them out, I learned that I was slowly bleeding out, and with no way to stop that bleeding, it wasn't long before I passed out, leaving me to wake up at the hospital once again. But determined that I had to do this now, I got straight back into the stars, making it back and taking out the last mercenary who had made it outside. This meant that the mission was now complete, as my first pay came in, and it has to be said, for what I got, I did not expect it to be that difficult. However, I am never one to back down, and now here I had so much to loot, and so I did exactly that, searching everywhere I could, collecting ammo, weapons, and anything else I could find, like some of these med pens which would have been useful earlier. However, this is when the unexpected happened. As I was loading bodies with loot which I could not carry onto my ship, shots came in from the sky, blasting the top of Brie, and so I jumped on board, powered up, and did my best to fly off. And although I saw nothing from the ship which those shots came from, I somehow made it out of there, eventually making it back to our corp. But this is where even more trouble came. This would be my first time attempting to land back at my hangar, and as I flew in the dead of the night, I could not find it, searching for almost an hour, just wanting to end my journey. However, eventually, I had somehow made it back, spying the station. However, I could not find where to land. This took me even more time, but eventually, I spied my opening as I began to land, which turned out to be not my hangar, as I was escorted away and my ship impounded, meaning those credits I just made will now have to go towards paying that off, otherwise my space journey would be over already. And so with that, I stored all I could before having a cozy night aboard the Brie, and with that, my first day would be over as I awaited for what day 2 could bring. Now this was a horrendous first day out in the verse. However, now that we know what we're doing, perhaps tomorrow could be better. But if you enjoyed this, please let me know by liking this video. That would really help me out, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of the content, and I will catch you all in the next one.